So I'm here inside the Hopewell Centre now, and you will probably get much better volume this time out. When Alex gets here and we start doing the Wenchair walkabouts properly stated, we'll have a proper audio arrangement then, and we should be able to get much better volume and coverage out of what comes out of my mouth. So we're here in the Hopewell Centre, as I say, which is a round building, and this round building is indicative of an episode of disruption in Hong Kong's architectural history, because as I understand it, Hopewell Centre was the first completely round building in Hong Kong, and also had a revolving restaurant on the top of it. But that anecdote aside, Professor Christensen talks about sustaining innovations and disruptive innovations. And a sustaining innovation is an improvement on an existing product that helps companies to keep the cash flowing, but it doesn't actually engender any growth, because a sustaining innovation is such the type of innovation that someone who bought last year's best product is not going to buy this year's best product. The thing about sustaining innovations is it allows the capital in the company to be able to be used. The free cash flow in the company can be used and towards generating profits, and that it actually does enable the creation of market share for that business that's introducing these sustaining innovations. But the problem with all of that is that the sustaining innovation doesn't really contribute to any kind of growth, and it's to disruptive innovations that you look to encounter growth in any particular market where there is a job to be done. And disruptive innovations are designed in such a way that they come in at the bottom end of the marketplace, usually a more cost-effective service or a product offering that opens up the opportunity for consumers in that marketplace to access a product or a service that was previously out of their reach. And a really good example of this is the mini computer industry in the 1980s that was completely disrupted and ultimately destroyed by the personal computing industry, because the mini computers, which were to be found inside companies that were introducing new sort of word processing and computing type efficiencies, those products were all very top dollar, tens of thousands of dollars, so the average consumer had no opportunity to access any kind of computing capability. So with the advent of the PC, that then changed completely, and individuals who are previously non-consuming suddenly can start to consume because there's a product within reach. And all those early computers, of course, from a quality perspective, were very different from the high quality offerings that was occurring in the mainframe, the mini computing sector of the market. And that notwithstanding the tsunami of previously non-consuming consumers, essentially led to the complete disruption and then the destruction of the mini computing business. And in the 1980s, there were companies as big with names that were as big as Microsoft and Google today. Digital, for example, DEC, no longer to be seen. Wang, no longer to be seen. In fact, when I did my last ever job for anyone I ever worked for, which was the Sheraton Hotel in 1988. Yeah, it was 1988. There was no computers on the desktops. There was a Wang system, and you had to go to the central printing room to get the printouts of from the commands that you sent from your Wang terminal from the place that you worked around the hotel. Yeah, so that's the difference between disruptive innovation and sustaining innovation. And as you'll see, the whole thing about disruptive innovation is that it allows you to come in with a product that is designed to gain attention of or to drive revenue from a section of the marketplace who have a job to be done, that will afford you then a relationship with that customer, and will give you the foundations of the growth that you can acquire over time, as we did at the Hong Kong Visa Centre, that will allow you to then turn your guns in due course into a disruptive service offering in the main markets where your competitors are operating, by which time you've really created the kind of environment for success in what you do. And even if you're not able to massively compete against them, you will at least be a target for an acquisition at some stage, because what you're doing will become apparent that is a wave of the future. And it's the old adage, right, that the small fries get taken out by the big guys, and that could be a very interesting exit opportunity for you as you begin to gain traction in markets that are logically adjacent to the core market that you went into, but because you've been able to compete against on consumption with a disruptive proposition, you now become an acquirable entity in your own right.